Welcome back to Worst Seats in the House. Michael Russo coming to you from Las Vegas. Emergency podcast. LaPanta is off this week, but when I get back to Minnesota, LaPanta and I will do a podcast most likely by Friday. So make sure you listen to that. But this will be an emergency pod based off the breaking news, first broken by Frank Saravelli, NHL Insider Today, and we'll get to that in a second. Our next live show is September 17th at Elsie's, September 29th at Tuttle's. 17th at Elsie's and 29th at Tuttle's. And the breaking news, and this has been my concern all summer long, frankly, all year, if you've listened to this podcast, is that Kirill Kaprizov would not take the lucrative offer by the Wild. Frank Saravelli broke it today. We have been reporting on this podcast and also in The Athletic that the Wild were going to offer an 8-year deal in the $128 million range. That would be the largest AAV in NHL history at $16 million and the largest total dollars in NHL history, eclipsing Alex Ovechkin's 13-year, $124 million deal in 2008. Well, the Wild indeed offered 8 years at $128 million. Frank broke the story, and it was rejected by Paul Theophanis and Kirill on Tuesday during a meeting. I reported in Tuesday's Athletic that, that Theophanis was in Minnesota meeting with Guerin. And during that meeting, it was rejected. I have confirmed that. So any reports that you see out there saying that Frank's report was inaccurate or a fairy tale, that's absolutely false. This is 100% true. Now, what we don't have is the context. Does he want out, essentially? Whether, however you want to characterize it. Does he want out? Is he more interested in letting this play out and see how the team does? Is he more interested in playing another market? Does he want to get traded? We don't know that. Or does he want to negotiate a shorter-term deal? As far as that, the latter, I can tell you that I have been giving no indication from my multiple sources involved in this that he has given any indication to the Wild that he wants a shorter-term deal. Right now, the only thing I believe the Wild know is that he is not taking the 8-year, $128 million deal. So right now, the impression I get is that he either just doesn't want to sign now, wants to maybe grind for more money, or just does maybe want to test free agency or even get traded. We will see. But now the pressure is firmly on the Wild. And this is what my concern was the longer this went is why would he, if you're not taking this deal on July 1, and the Wild have been offering in the $15, $60 million range for a long, long time, what was going to change? What would suddenly in a face-to-face meeting with Bill Guerin and Craig Leopold just change everything? I mean, you're going to take that type of deal. Like, who turns down $128 million unless you genuinely are interested in seeing if you can get more in the open market, if you want to just play in a different market, who knows? The other thing that gave me a little concern is that the longer it went, it also gives Kirill Kaprizov and his camp more time to sort of do analysis and get intel and all sorts of things on what teams might make overtures next summer. So even though Guerin voiced optimism all summer long, I think a lot of that was just trusting the fact of what his conversations were with Kirill at the end of the year, and also Guerin believing who the heck in their right mind turns down the richest contract in NHL history. Well, clearly, in a very gutsy move for a guy that missed 41 games last season, Kirill Kaprizov at age 28 with a contract starting at 29 has done that. He is, at this point, not taking the contract. So not a great day for the organization. I think they're going to let this play out a little bit. But again, the pressure is on the Wild. Like, if Kirill really if they can't grind this out a little more and get him to either sign a long-term deal or some sort of midterm deal or even a short-term extension, at some point, to me, it's incumbent on the Wild to get a list of teams that he'd be willing to go to and start talking to other teams about potential trades. The problem with that is if one of those other teams thinks that Kirill is going to come there as a free agent, maybe you don't want to give up any compensation. You're going to wait for next summer anyway. But if you have the ability at this early juncture to get Kirill Kaprizov for a full year, you might give up a king's ransom, especially if you think that he'll sign an extension with you. So I don't know. I mean, this is just me. It's a lot easier for me. And again, Kirill has all the power here because he has a full no move. But I don't know if I want to let him see the ice to start the season. Now, I lived I covered this team in 2008-9 when Marian Gaborik turned down that monster 10-year, $80 million deal. And 5 games into the season, before that game in Florida, he was playing sewer ball, hurt himself, and then it wound up having hip surgery in December and essentially became untradeable, and they lost him for nothing. To me, Kirill is the best player by far in franchise history, the one true superstar in franchise history, not to take anything away from Marian Gaborik. But it was a disaster to lose Gaborik for nothing. A disaster. And to me, they can't make that mistake again. Kirill, if you are not going to be able to re-sign him, you've got to get value back in some sort of capacity with him. And I don't know, after missing 41 games last season, if I want to wait any time into the season and give him the opportunity to potentially get hurt. So I don't know. If I'm Bill Guerin, I kind of reassess here, maybe have another conversation with Kirill, see if this is at the point of no return. And if it is, you got to say to Kirill, where do you want to potentially go? And then start to talk to those teams. The one thing about Kirill is that, he believes in himself. He does want to win. He's got a lot of friends in this league. I'm sure that the usual suspects will be amongst the list of teams that he would be interested in playing for. The Rangers are the first one that just comes to mind with his relationship with Sturk in there. Panarin's there, who's also a pending UFA. Maybe they want a tag team. As I mentioned, Chicago, obviously they're not any close to winning, but I know that he loves Chicago. Vegas, LA, Miami, Tampa, places like that. Not that any of these teams could necessarily fit him under the cap. The Rangers, to me, is the most intriguing team, just because there are probably players that you can get in return. They also have 2 2026 firsts. So, obviously we're putting the cart ahead of the horse here, but this is obviously news to me that is 100% accurate and will need to be assessed right away by the Wild and Guerin. So I just wanted to get this out here, but I did want to let you know that Frank's report is true from what I understand, and that obviously we're still waiting to figure out. Kirill obviously hasn't talked. We probably won't get to talk to him until the first day of training camp, which is September 18th. He was on the ice at captain's practice today, but we still, again, don't know with 100% certainty, does he just want a shorter-term deal, which is something that I've been saying on the podcast for a long time, to me makes the most sense for both sides. For a 29-year-old coming off 41 games of injury, if I'm the Wild, I wouldn't mind signing him to a 3 or 4 year extension. And if I'm Kirill Kaprizov, I'd be interested in that too, because it also puts a little pressure on the Wild to build a winner around him. But again, we don't know if that is with total certainty, if that is something that's still in the cards here, or if he just wants to play for another team. But you turn down $128 million, that's a pretty courageous move. And again, as I said, through my sources so far, I have gotten no indication that he has at least given the Wild any indication that he is willing to sign a short-term bridge deal or bridge extension or whatever you want to call it. So we'll see. A little off the cuff podcast, probably stream of consciousness. Maybe I should have made some notes. But again, just wanted to jump on here, let you know that I am alive, that this story is accurate, and we'll see where this goes. But right now, that is it. Again, Anthony LaPanta, who usually is much more sensible than me, and I'll talk to him on a podcast, most likely Thursday night or Friday. Thanks to our incredible sponsors, Aquarius Home Services, your local authorized dealer for Connecticut water treatment systems, Clamshell Beach Resorts, Onyx Maps, Twill in the Edina Galleria, and Royal Credit Union. Talk to you next time.
So much coming out, there's nothing going in. I know that you feel like you're never gonna win. Oh, but the world won't forgive